Hey, everybody. So, due to popular demand, this is going to be a lecture on a chapter on gerontology, aging and the older adult. So, I'm going to share my screen and let's get right to it. And no, let's find it. And there it is. Okay. So, this is all about older adulthood and aging. I should be an expert at this point, right? All right, let's get on with it. So people that are 65 years of age, right around now, have an average life expectancy of another 20 years, give or take, 19.5. And by the way, females live longer than males. Kids that were born in 2017 can expect to live about 78.6 years. But if you were born in 1900, the life expectancy was 47. Isn't that crazy? So, the definition of old and older, those things change over time. So just understand when we talk about a young old adult and the oldest adult, I am a young old adult. So that's 50 to 79. The oldest adults, 80 to 100 plus, and more people are living to 100 these days. So let's talk about all the words that are related to aging. So gerontology is the study of the aging process. And then gerontologic nursing, well, that's nursing that specializes in the care of older folks. Geriatrics is the study of medical problems, social problems, and care for older people. The term older adult, usually we're talking about somebody over 50, but it can be disrespectful or it can be derogatory. So be careful what you say. Senescence. Senescence is the progress of getting older or characteristics of older age. And then we talked about young, old, and oldest adult. And then the term ageism. Ageism is like discrimination against older folks. And that actually does happen out there. Right? It's important to know. So Erickson came up with some great theories, and he had a theory on growth and development. And at the age that I am, which is 61, almost 62, this was the challenge of integrity versus despair. Okay. So he came up with these thought processes that were challenges and what stage of development they were applied to and where you needed to be as far as accomplishments at that stage of development in order to be living a fulfilled or your best life. Okay. So for late adulthood, it's integrity versus despair. Your necessary accomplishments were to balance choices, achieve stability, hopefully retire at some point, evaluate your life and accept the choices that you've made. And the virtues should be renunciation, wisdom, and dignity. So we as older adults, we're expected to kind of like be wiser and to be able to share that with you guys. When we say integrity versus despair, integrity means that you're satisfied with your life. You can accept the fact that you're going to die. When you have integrity, you look at your whole life as one big whole, and death is just part of it, right? And that's just it's inevitable. Now, despair is feeling angry or bitter about missed opportunities, having regrets, time wasted, and being terrified of death. People with despair have difficulty accepting their past. They are constantly in a state of, I wish I would have, right? And they can't find wholeness in their life. It's a bad place to be at this age. Okay. So psychosocial development for older adults, definitions are influenced by the individual's ability to function in society and to maintain your self-esteem. And it's not necessarily related to the number of years you've been on this earth. A lot of people are working past the age of 65. So, age is just a number. When we talk about the young old adult, we're talking about generativity versus stagnation. Generativity means that, I want to share what I know with the younger folks, right? I want to help you guys out. So that's generativity. Stagnation, on the other hand, is where I'm only focused on me, 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 me. I'm like an opera singer, me, 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 me. And I don't have any concern for the younger folks or the future generations, right? Which is not good. And here we go, the integrity or ego integrity versus despair, the acceptance of your life, not having regrets, Remember, everything that happens, even the bad stuff, usually teaches you a lesson of some sort. So you shouldn't have regrets, okay? And feeling like you're a failure, no good. So, is this true? According to Erickson, a psychosocial challenge for this developmental stage is intimacy versus isolation. True or false? If you said false, you would be right. It's not. It's integrity versus despair. Okay. So, development in older adulthood. Usually, we're more educated. We're aware of healthcare issues and what our responsibilities are. Most people between 64 and 74 are married and live with a spouse. Those who do live alone are usually able to perform their IADLs and ADLs. But eventually, if you live long enough, you're going to need some support and assistance. And then senescence is a major influence on thoughts of retirement. So what goes along with being retired? What goes along with being old? And then physical changes are interrelated and coexist with financial issues and lifestyle choices. So, we know we're getting older, doesn't mean we like it. And we don't have to have all of the negativity that goes along with aging, but there are some things that are inevitable. So we have to kind of accept it, right? So the young old adult is 50 to 79. And biological effects of aging and function, your genetics, you cannot fight them, right? So different people may look 60 may look 60 and be 20, or may look 20 and be 60, right? So your functional age and your chronological age are different, right? And the World Health Organization, notes the age classification does vary from country to country. I'm Italian, Mediterraneans. Over there, people live to be 105. Okay? So Mediterranean diet and all that stuff. So what are the concerning areas for young old adults? Am I going to lose my strength, my health, my flexibility, my endurance? Are my organs going to start to fail? Will I not be able to see or hear? How's my reaction time going to be? Am I going to fall? Right? Am I going to have an unsteady gait? Am I not going to sleep well? Am I not going to be able to feel things or smell things or taste things? And the older you get, sadly, you're gonna have more emotional and physical losses. So in other words, you're gonna watch people that you care about pass, which stinks, but it's part of that transition into old age. If you get hurt, sometimes recovery takes a little bit longer. Um, you get Medicare at 65, so that's good insurance. So yay. Am I going to need medications? Do I need help with my lifestyle? Should I go to the doctors and get a colonoscopy? All these things are things that are concerning, right? Lifestyle changes are important because you have to adapt to loss. Like I said, you're going to watch people die. I've been to a lot of funerals. But as you get older, you do develop better coping mechanisms to deal with that. You basically, your role in society kind of changes, mom to grandmom. And you have to kind of adapt to those changes in a happy way, right? Young old adults. So 80% of people my age have at least one chronic condition, and more than half have several. And care and cost of treating them is a big concern because healthcare, as we know in this country, can be expensive. So oftentimes they require care from professionals. Sometimes family needs to step in and help if they'll do it. A lot of the disorders are related to avoidable things like tobacco, smoking, hazardous environments, lack of exercise, poor diet. The two most common for young old adults are osteoarthritis and hypertension. Osteoarthritis, inflammation in your joints, and it's just from wear and tear on your joints over time. You have a car parts wear out. You have a body parts wear out, right? Same thing. Many medications are out there to treat such chronic conditions like arthritis. Polypharmacy is a big concern for older folks. If you go to a nursing home, you will see pages and pages and pages of meds. So not necessarily the best thing, right? Because every med can have a potential side effect or an adverse effect or an interaction with another med. So, and then you couple that with the fact that you're aging and things are slowing down, it can be a problem. It's important that you have knowledge and education. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better off you are. And understanding. So in order to understand everything about your conditions or your medications, some education is required, right? There's a lot of technology now. that really, really helps us. I, for one, love the technology, right? A lot of older folks do not. They're afraid of it. They have to kind of embrace it because, change is not always a bad thing. Change is good. And then the costs. So a big concern for people my age is, if I'm going to live to be 100, I hope, am I going to be able to afford to live to be 100? Right? Do I have medications that I have to pay for? Or is my healthcare going to cost so much that I won't have any money left to eat? These are concerns, right? Mental health. People think that you get dementia automatically as part of the aging process. That's not true. Fear and anxiety can start because of worries. Depression and dementia are not normal parts of aging, right? If you have some issues, changes can be traced maybe to earlier brain trauma, right? And working, older adults, they're working longer. I don't think I'll ever retire. I mean, I might not work as much, but I'm not going to retire. And you want older folks like me working for you because we have the benefit of experience and all that wisdom that comes along with it. So, right, it's a good thing. So here's another question. Think about it. Severe depression is a normal consequence of typical aging. True or false? If you said false, you were right. You don't have to get dementia. You don't have to get depressed when you get older, right? They don't go hand in hand. So aging affects different people in different ways, right? Physical, psychosocial, and spiritual aging doesn't always occur at the same rate. And there are lots of factors that affect the aging process. So each person has to kind of confront and adapt to the lifestyle changes that they have, right? Depending on what they are. I'm in pretty reasonably decent shape. Hopefully that lasts. Older folks are vulnerable to physical and psychosocial aspects that are related to normal aging. So biological aging. Sometimes you get a little tired. Now, if you have chronic conditions, then, it can be a little more than just feeling fatigued. You can be more vulnerable to pathological changes that have occurred over time. In other words, if you're overweight, if you're sedentary, that can cause problems with bones like osteoporosis can occur for older females, lots of things. The psychosocial issues with the older adult, you want to be independent. So when I'm 80 to 100, I want to still have control over the major aspects of my life. And the keys to that are healthcare, finance, and social resources. Can I drive? When I'm 80? We'll see. But if there's no transportation, if I can't drive, that's a problem. And then there's always that fear. Am I going to lose the ability to walk, or am I going to lose my financial resources, or my social support, or my friends going to start dropping? And loss of independence and mobility. At some point, sometimes you just got to give your keys up, right? If your reaction time has slowed so much that you're a hazard to yourself and other people on the road, you may have to give up driving. That's a big problem because how do you get to grocery store, to the doctor's appointments? And then falls. That is the leading cause of hospital admissions. And when you fall once, if you break a bone, that leads to more falls, decreased mobility. Okay. Social environment and loss. You need friends. We're social creatures, right? You need to have some kind of a social life when you're older. And you should do things that make you happy, right? You have to adjust to living on a fixed income, right? That's important for older folks to think about. Is there stress? Yes, there's stress. Stress comes with being young, being old, and everywhere in between. You have to manage it. So adapting to stress and loss is normal in that life cycle. And when you get older, like I said, people that you love are going to die. Your spouses, friends, they're going to die, and you're going to have to deal with that. And then you're religious, if you have religion or if you have spiritual beliefs, different people can prepare for or think about, the end in different ways. Right? Falls are a leading cause of hospital admissions among older adults and are related to a loss of proprioception. Is that what they said? Right? So proprioception is the unconscious awareness of where your body is, right? In orientation and relationship to other things around you. Like I'm aware that I'm sitting on a chair in my dining room. And I know that if I get up, I have a few inches to the left of me before I'll hit another chair, right? So that's proprioception. So I won't fall because I'm aware of how much space I have. Does that make sense for you guys? That's what proprioception is. And that's an important thing that can sometimes get lost with age. Anyway, this was short and sweet. We're going to do another one, but this is a good start. So until next time, kids, I will see you later. Remember, if you have any questions, holla. Okay, bye.